Ever since Neptune was discovered in 1846, there have been rumours that a ninth planet, a mysterious gas giant called Planet X, exists, which interferes with the orbits of the other planets. Over the years, many people have claimed to find this ninth planet, but of course it's rubbish. There isn't a ninth planet, and it's all... Wait, what the... Hey, so there might be another planet in our solar system, which is awesome. I'm going to talk about that here, in the white box up in the corner. Yeah, that, because that's not there as I say this, because editing, woo. But keep watching, because first I'm going to give a little background information on the whole situation with the whole ninth planet thing, including Pluto and this mysterious planet X, which started back at the turn of the 19th century. Basically, at this point, Uranus had recently been found, but French astronomer Alexis Bouvard and other astronomers noticed something weird in the Uranian orbit. It was actually being interfered with. They knew Saturn couldn't be doing it as it was too small, so they hypothesized an eighth outer planet existed. Yeah, turns out they were right, because on the 23rd of September, 1846, Johann Galle and Urbain Le Verrier observed that planet, now called Neptune. But crucially, it wasn't observed first, but it was mathematically predicted first, which was a first for finding a planet in our solar system. And they got it right, Neptune does exist, we know that bit. But rumours kept on appearing, like conspiracies often do, and many esteemed scientists of the era claimed that one planet, Neptune, wasn't entirely enough to cause the wobble in the orbit of Uranus, whatever. In the wake of Neptune's discovery, many would go on to claim the observations of Neptune were wrong, and it was actually smaller or further away than Galle and Le Verrier thought. Therefore, there must be another planet causing all this wobble, which was dubbed Planet X, because X represents the unknown, and not because it's the 10th planet in the solar system, hence the X in Roman numerals, because it wasn't the 10th planet in the solar system. So, hooray for maths. In 1908, William Pickering, and also this guy called Percival Lowell, who we'll get to later, announced he had discovered a ninth planet, named Planet O because it comes after N in the alphabet, which is absolutely hilarious. He claimed that he had discovered another planet at around 50 AU, or 7.5 billion kilometers, which the AU thing is a measurement I'll get to later, and even had photographs of the planet. However, he also believed there were alien canals carved into the surface of Mars, so maybe not the kind of best person to trust on that one. So, I mentioned that I'd talk about AU. AU is basically short for astronomical unit. It's a unit of distance to measure kind of how far out planets are from the star. Earth is 1 AU. An AU is basically equal to the distance from the Sun to the Earth. So, for example, Neptune orbits at 30 AU, so 30 times further than the Sun is to the Earth, or Uranus at 20 AU. Easy peasy. But you know those photographs that William Pickering took of his supposed planet O? Yeah, well, turns out they weren't entirely false, because 4 of them he had succeeded. He had captured a planet outside of Neptune, and its name was Pluto. But Percival Lowell, who helped search with Pickering for the ninth planet, was also kind of obsessed with the idea for a Planet X. He died in 1916 without ever seeing Pluto, but his brother went on to found the Lowell Observatory in his honour, which you may know as where the infamous Clyde Tombaugh actually found Pluto in 1930. But, as we've seen before, within a month, skeptics came in, said that possibly couldn't be responsible for the wobbles, and there must be another bigger planet elsewhere. Yeah, this again, brilliant, you never get tired of it. But they were wrong. Not in the sense that Pluto was actually big enough to move the planets, it's tiny, it couldn't do that. But in the fact that planets needed to be moved. Because in 1993, over half a century later, we visited Neptune in the form of the Voyager 2 probe, and it was 0.5% smaller than we thought. To give scale, that 0.5% is about the weight of the Earth. When the Jet Propulsion Laboratory remodeled the solar system with this in mind, Planet X disappeared. The wobble of Uranus was caused entirely by Neptune and the inner planets, and Planet X, there was no need for it. It didn't exist. So, that's that, right? That's everything? No, because Pluto. I'm just not going to get into the whole Pluto thing. This video is complicated enough as it is. Basically, TLDR, Pluto's not a planet. So that brings us to today, and everything seems neatly tied up. We seem to have found everything. Yeah, maybe not, because on the 20th of January 2016, Konstantin Biatagin, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that, and Mike Brown from the California Institute of Technology stepped forward and claimed that he had evidence for the orbit of a massive gas giant which kind of passes by the Sun at 200 AU at its closest, which is 7 times the distance to Neptune, and up to 1200 AU at its farthest point, which is over 40 times the distance to Neptune. It is so far out and space is so big that it takes 15,000 years for one planetary year to occur for it to travel the entire orbit, which is absolutely incredible, meaning you can fit basically all of human history since the Neolithic agricultural revolution, where we actually learned to plant crops, all the way to today, and we'll still have 3,000 years spare. It's amazing. But why do we even think there's a planet there? I thought we disproved that there was a whole, Planet X not existing thing. Well, all we did was disprove a planet interfering with the rest of the solar system. But if this planet is so far out that it doesn't interfere significantly with it at all, it can still exist. Well, if it exists at all. That's my disclaimer for the video, because it's not certain whether it exists or not. The duo hasn't directly observed the planet, but instead found traces of its potential orbit. In particular, its effect on comets. Yes, because any planet orbiting in the Kuiper Belt is going to kind of intersect with comets orbiting in the same region, and the comets are lighter and going to get slung about by the planet and be affected ultimately. Well, they found 5 or 6 comets with tilted or inclined orbits when compared to the rest of the Kuiper Belt. They are all similarly inclined, and the team suggests that the chances of this happening independently with no planet involved is 0.007%, which is tiny. So instead they hypothesized that a planet with an estimated mass of about 8 Earths, which is tiny compared to the gas giant, is also inclined like this and is drawing all these comets into these weirdly tilted orbits. In addition, some speculate it could also throw in comets from the outer reaches of the solar system way into where we are right now, becoming the comets we see and know today, which would actually be really cool when you think about it. Michael Brown and Konstantin Biatagin, published their results and hypothesis on 20th of January 2016, which is actually today as I write this, but also kind of yesterday as I narrate this, because Alejandro Morbilladili, an expert in the field at the Nice Observatory, performed the peer review for the paper, and he said it made a very solid argument and that he is quite convinced by the existence of a distant planet, so it's actually kind of looking good. If they do directly observe this planet, it will be absolutely massive. You won't stop hearing about it for months, and it might even qualify as the discovery of the century so far. So consider this a heads up. Loads of people are excited, and many telescopes are actually on the case as I write this script. But what do you think? Is this just a case of history repeating itself, where someone thinks they've found another planet when they haven't? Or do you believe the results of the pair and there's a new planet, which is awesome? And one more for luck. If you had the choice, what would you name it? I will call it Janus, which is the Roman god of gateways, because it's kind of like the gateway to the rest of the universe, kind of, I guess. It's kind of weird like that. Until someone with a big telescope can tell us, we can basically only guess. And until then, thank you for watching.